For more than half her life, Claire Shue has been shouting, but no one's listening. Her entire family was killed by her brother, who suffers a serious mental illness. In the 2 decades since, Claire says nothing has changed. Innocent people are still dying, victims of a broken system.
And he thought, maybe if I kill them, that he'll be free.
Your parents couldn't have done any more, and the system couldn't have done any less.
What's changed since then?
They are ticking time bombs roaming the streets.
They are. And it's not safe for anyone.
For more than 23 years, Claire Shue has been living with the kind of pain that never goes away. Claire, I know you don't want to be doing this right now, but you feel like you have no choice.
The last thing I want to do is be on TV and be interviewed, but I've had enough.
How would you describe our health system right now?
Failing.
And does it scare you?
Yeah.
You know what can happen. At 22, Claire lost her entire family. Her parents, Des and Sandra, and big brother Mark, fatally stabbed in their Port Macquarie home in 2001. Claire's only surviving family member, her brother David, the one who killed them. Now's probably a good time to say that you and I went to high school together. If only we'd known what was coming. A diagnosed schizophrenic, David Shue's mental illness was seemingly pushed to the side as his family desperately tried to get help.
So for David, he was struggling with voices that would said if you killed your parents, then he wouldn't be sick anymore. And he fought those feelings, is what he told me. And then it got too much. And he thought, maybe if I kill them, that he'll be free from the voices in his head.
David took himself to hospital and said he was going to kill his family.
Yep.
I mean, as a plea for help, it doesn't get much clearer than that.
No. And he got on a bus that had a naked man in his eyes strapped to it that said, go kill your family. And that's what he did.
The bodies of a 54-year-old woman, a 55-year-old man and a 30-year-old man believed to be their son were discovered shortly before 1:30 this afternoon. All had suffered multiple injuries.
When everyone was asleep, he went down. He went down and stabbed my brother, who had marks all over his hands in his sleep trying to defend himself. And Mum and Dad woke up and have come running down. And so Dad made it to the bottom where David took him by surprise, stabbed him dead. Mum was on the landing, stabbed, lasted a little bit longer, but died.
This is your family, Claire. Where were you?
In Brisbane.
That probably saved your life.
Yeah.
Well, this is your whole family. The way it should be.
Yes. The future, you know, that you vision from this is not where I am.
But even in this, you can sort of see David's a bit detached.
Yeah. Running his own show.
I love this one of your mum and dad.
I do.
You can tell how in love they are.
And Dad's the adventurer.
But then you've got this beautiful big brother, Mark.
Yeah. My protector. And Poof. It's like they vanished.
Happier times. In the years leading up to their deaths, Des and Sandra wrote letters to numerous government agencies, including the State Ombudsman, detailing their concerns about David.
Help seemed to come when there was a crisis, but just to be able to access help before there was a crisis, there's nothing.
Your parents couldn't have done any more, and the system couldn't have done any less.
And they were desperate, but no one listens.
And all these years later, we're still hearing that same story.
We come to you with breaking news. Right now, there is a major emergency unfolding at Bondi Junction, and it's centred on the Westfield Shopping Centre.
6 innocent people were killed in last year's Bondi Junction attack, stabbed by Joel Couchy, a man with schizophrenia who wasn't taking his medication.
The parents of the Bondi Junction mass killer, they tried to do the same thing as your folks, raise the alarm.
Nothing.
But nothing.
Yeah, it just keeps happening, and I can't see a change in all this time.
Yeah.
But he's dead, so the pain is this rehashing that a lot of us go through for them stopped.
From what you've just said there, I'm taking it is tough for you
It's so tough.
that David is still alive.
Yeah. It is.
Do you wish he was dead?
I wish he wasn't sick. No. I really love my brother. He has a really serious mental illness, which affects what he does, how he thinks, and it's terrifying. But if someone gets cancer, I've got asthma, no one's having to go at me for it, because it doesn't hurt others.
David Shue admitted to killing his relatives, but was found not guilty of the murders on the grounds of mental illness.
So it's been 23 years. Right now, David is able to be out in the community. How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's safe for my brother. Would be initially. A lot of people with mental illness get abused, very vulnerable. It's not safe for him. And if that flips and he has another episode, then it's not safe for anyone.
Right now in New South Wales, the mental health system is on the verge of utter disaster. Public psychiatrists are threatening to quit en masse, with mental health wards in hospitals shutting down in response.
One of your big issues is better support for the mentally ill and their families before tragedy occurs.
Yeah, because it's the families that get the responsibility to look after them, but the families have no support to look after them.
How is that going to happen though when you have half the psychiatrists quitting or threatening to in New South Wales, which is the state where David lives?
Well, it can't be done. It's a failing system, and now the top, people with the most knowledge and power are walking off saying it's broken. Let's listen. Got her photo and
Claire is now part of a club no one wants to join, a homicide victims group. 6 women who have lost loved ones at the hands of someone who was mentally ill, left to pick up the pieces and push for change.
You have tried countless times to speak to the Mental Health Minister, Rose Jackson.
yeah,
And the response has been?
she doesn't turn up. Rose is a bit too busy for this.
Sounds like, at best, you're a nuisance, at worst, ignored.
I'm like the, the crazy griever, making noise because she's upset. That's how it feels. But I still think I matter. I still think my voice could help.
Despite the cruel hand she's been dealt, Claire has built a beautiful life of her own, alongside husband Daryl and sons Des and James.
The pain is like a cloud and it follows, but I have a life to live, and I've got an amazing husband, I've got 2 beautiful kids, and I do my best.
Why do you keep fighting when it obviously takes a toll?
I've thought about that. When you see such a failing system, it's really hard to ignore it. If there's any change that somebody can make to prevent murders, to help people with mental illness feel safe and regulated, how can I not?
I think that your mum and dad and your big brother Mark will be so proud of you.
I hope so.
So strong, isn't she? Well, New South Wales Health Minister Rose Jackson won't front Claire or us. Through a spokesperson, she acknowledged the problem and need for reform. Right now, 58,000 people with severe mental health needs are missing out on care. That's just in New South Wales. So, Minister, a message from Claire. We need a courageous, energised minister to come at this issue differently. We are not going away.